Hello and welcome to HR training for managers that we have set up for you. Today, we're going to go through a few laws that you managers should obtain a working knowledge. Knowing these laws will help you and your role at Initech Industries. Please let me introduce myself since I'm presenting this training to you today. My name is Eric Meinke, and I'm the VP of the HR department here at Initech. I'm kind of a big deal here because I really know my stuff. As since you can see my contact information on the side here, please feel free to contact me if you need any clarification or help in any way. I'm here for you. Let's go over the reasons for the need to take this training. As managers, Initech needs you to observe and act accordingly to these laws. I have them broken down for 6 reasons. 1. Protect the employees. They have needs and rights. Number 2 is protect the company. We don't violate policy. We can hurt staff, our brand, and incur fees for doing so. Number 3 is provide a safe workplace to employees so they can grow and be treated fairly. Produce strong directives. I want you to be confident in your knowledge. Proceed strongly with your ability to handle situations. And procure working knowledge. I want you to be acclimated to these policies so you can structure the workplace. Remember, you are an advocate for the employees and the company. That's not an easy task at times. Employees will always need exceptions to be made, and the company will always need you to follow policy. Knowing this stuff is the key to finding a happy medium. Here's a list of questions that we may already have. So we can answer these now and then follow up with any other questions. Feel free to write them down on your copy of the presentation. Do I need to know all this? No, need a working knowledge. You could always reach out if you have any questions. Who do I go for questions? Your supervisor, me, any other leadership. Where can I go for this information? The EEOC, the DOL have websites, same as state regulations. How do I obtain this information? You Google search, brochures, phone calls, or page 2 of this training, which is me. Here's an outline of the laws and reasons behind their creation. We're going to start out with the heaviest one to talk about discrimination and harassment. Next, we will go into leave laws and most likely a few employees that are covered under. And then we'll talk about compensation. It's the number one concern for most, if not all, of our employees. Safety, which is super important one. Lastly, we touch on other few considerations. Okay, let's get into it. Discrimination and harassment. These laws are to fight against people getting treated differently based on their individual characteristics. Here is a list and a short reason for the law. We start with the Civil Rights Act that stops discrimination based on race, religion, sex, color, and origin. Next is age discrimination for people who are over 40 to get treated fairly. Immigration reform. Follow immigration laws for our migrant workers. Genetic Information and Non-Discrimination Act against the use and release of personal information. An Americans with Disabilities Act. Work accommodations and protect jobs for people with disabilities. National Labor Relations handle the ability for employees to group together, and let's talk about work improvements. Leave laws are next. The Family Medical Leave Act covers employees to keep their jobs during leave. People use this leave in 2 different ways. They use a big chunk of time, like for adoption or staying home after giving birth. Others use it intermittently. An example of this is every 2 weeks they have to leave work early to take their family member to a medical appointment. This type of leave usage has to be approved before they use it. Compensation laws basically has two sections for our concerns. First off, exempt versus non-exempt. Non-exempt employees are paid hourly. Most of the employees fall under this. Exempt employees don't have the same guidelines about pay. The two parts for criteria of the non-exempt employee is that they're making minimum wage and that they are being paid overtime rate when they are working over 40 hours per week. Next, we're going to talk about safety. I'm sure most, if not all, you've heard about OSHA. The Occupational Health and Safety Act. Basically, OSHA looks at four things. Safety workplace. Employees need to work in a place that doesn't hurt them. Endures that Initech is providing proper training for everyone, and they want us to provide proper equipment for all the employees for their work needs, and they oversee workers' compensation claims, and that's the payment for injured workers. There are a few variables that may affect these policies. State laws. The state laws may have different standards than federal laws. As a suggestion, I would follow the stricter guidelines. That way you can never go wrong. The laws that alter to an updated standards. You will know when this happens because there will be a change in Initech's policy. The last thing to think about is personal bias. Everyone has them. Just want you to be aware of yours and make sure they don't affect your decision making. After this training, this is what I want Initech to expect from you. Uphold these policies. Gather information before making decisions with employees. If you have any questions, please ask. Information can be given relatively quickly. Lastly, if you see something, say something. Nothing is worse than not reacting when needed. Remember, these are in place to protect the employees, you guys, and the company. We all have to be on the same page. The end. We did it, people. Again, if you have any questions, please reach out. It's better to know than to guess wrong. Here are two sites that give a great reference whenever you need. Thank you again for your participation.